that was a fucking wake-up call. I remember hitting 20 grand in a month, being fucking buzzed, rightly so. And then I think this is one of those expectations that is helpful for people to hear, being the level of disappointment you have is literally like you can equate it to the expectation that you had of what would happen and the reality. The bigger the deficit between those two things, the bigger the level of your disappointment will be. And my expectation, having hit 20 grand, whatever month that was next month will be 21. And it was, I don't remember, but I'll tell you it was less than 10. And that was a fucking wake-up call.
Kick in the dick.
Brutal.
Yeah.
And I think that's where, like, okay, the goal in building the business has always been, and we teach the coaches that, like, to be okay and capable to weather the volatility of running a business, because it does go up and down. But I think you want to close the gap as much as you can between your high months and your small months. I think that makes sense for, like, emotional regulation, because it's a fucking roller coaster. Yeah, I think for me, the expectation was it would be 20s there on out. It took me, I know for a fact, 11 calendar months to do it again. A fucking year of, like, I was going to say hoping and praying, and then I was going to correct myself because I don't want to admit that's what was happening, but that I think in reflection, that was what was happening.
I've said to you many times, like, I almost needed to prove myself that it wasn't a fluke, like I didn't do it by accident.
But I think if you're like, for me, it's like if I threw a dart and hit the bullseye, it was 11 more fucking goes, and you can only have one a month.
Yeah.
Before I did it again, and there was 11 pieces of evidence that it was a fluke.
But I guess a point on this is, it's you set your own expectations again off the back of that, and you're like, well, I've done it in this month, and then you almost, and we've talked about this many times, you lose concept of reality within that, as in, you know, do 32 and then like, oh, I only made 15 this month, and the reality of the fact of the sentence that you just said and bringing yourself back down to earth is like, you only have that reality based on what you have previously done.